This America Tin Man guitar lesson will show you how to play the complete song on acoustic guitar. With chord diagrams and an accompanying karaoke practice video, we'll cover it all with a step-by-step approach. The intro is a 2-chord progression, and the chord voicings used are unique chords. You can give them a lot of different names. I'm going to name each chord based off the bass note used. In this case, for both chords, it'll be the open 4th string, which is D. And that first chord shape, we're going to name D9 sus4. And the second chord shape will be a D7th. It's a D7th without a 3rd degree. And it's a good idea to run through a couple arpeggios, get some clarity out of each string before we start strumming. And the key to the transition here is keep the 3rd finger down. It doesn't move for either chord shape. And then you just shift the fingers, if they're aligned correctly, to adjacent strings. And the strum pattern will be down, 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 up, down. This 2-chord progression, it's repeated a few times later on in the song, so there's slight variations in the strums, so I'll give you just a general way to fall into it. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then, same deal with the D7th. Let's do that again. Verse 1 is also a 2-chord progression. We have some different chords, starting with a G major 7th. If you haven't played this chord before, a good way to memorize this voicing for a major 7th chord is that the fingers form sort of a diagonal line. And what I mean by that, as you go down each string, you move up 1 fret. Of course, the opposite applies as you move up. But it's a movable major 7th chord shape, so that's G major 7th. This would be an A flat major 7th or G sharp major 7th and an A major 7th. But back to this G major 7th, the second chord from here will go to a C major 7th along the 3rd fret position with the 5th string bass note. I'm strumming all 5, but really you want to aim for the middle 4 for the most part. If you include that top string, it's not the end of the world. Some might prefer to curve their 1st finger and just focus on those middle 4 strings. But we'll do an arpeggio and work on the transition as well. And then a 1-strum approach. The strum pattern, it's a choppy strum. The best way to fall into it is to apply a count. It'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And that'll be the count for each measure and how that sounds with the strum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And those last 3 strums are sort of an afterthought. It could be down, up, down, or up, down, up. Really depends what you're more comfortable with and how you fall into it, but you can do the same thing with the C major 7th. So if we put the 2 together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And this 2-chord sequence or progression is going to be played a total of 6 times on verse 1. It's played 2 times before the vocals kick in, and then technically verse 1, I guess that's when the lyrics begin, it'll be played another 4 times. But what we'll do right now is we'll walk through it just like it is on the original recording. We'll play 6 measures, great way to get acclimated to this 2-chord change, and we'll do a slow walkthrough. So here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. next challenge will be to focus on timing or syncing the lyrics with these chord changes to verse 1. So we can focus on that in the next clip. In fact, the next clip will be not only a review of verse 1, but we'll also attach the intro as well. So with that next clip, you can put it all together and also focus on syncing or timing the lyrics as well with the chords. For the chorus, we'll take the same G major 7th chord shape and slide it up 5 frets. So if we're looking in terms of fret positions, we're on the 2nd fret position now. That's where our first finger is aligned. We move up now to the 7th fret position. So with this being a movable major 7th chord shape, right now we're playing a C major 7th. But what's going on in the original recording is the bassist is playing an A note. It's focused on A for this particular section, so it's sort of an implied chord. In other words, if the bassist is playing A, but the guitarist is playing a C major 7th, together that produces an A minor 9th sound actually. But what I believe is that the guitars are just focused on the top 4 strings, but you can include that open 5th string if you want, or it just depends if you're playing with the bassist or not. But I jumped a little bit ahead. Let's focus on that strum pattern for this chord, because the strum pattern does change. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now those last two can vary. It can just be 1 count for the very last strum. It varies on the original recording, or, whoops, and then we'll go back to the 1 strum. Either way will work fine, and then for the progression we're going to go back to G major 7th, and then also revert back to the strum pattern from the verse, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So putting the 2 together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go back and forth 4 times with that sequence, that 2-chord sequence. So let's rehearse that right now. We'll go focus on the chorus 4 times, going back and forth with a slow walk through. 1, 2, ready, go. Then, to end the chorus, I still consider the next section to be part of the chorus. We revert back to that 2-chord progression used in the intro. Same strum and everything. And that'll lead into the next section, the next verse. So that is the chorus section. And what we'll do in the next clip is you can focus on putting that all together, as well as syncing the lyrics to the chord changes. Again, it'll be the complete version of the first chorus in the next clip. 2, 3. Now, the arrangement of Tin Man is pretty basic. It goes back and forth primarily between the verse and chorus sections. So a good idea at this point in the lesson is to set a good foundation and work on a basic arrangement, and that is combining the intro with verse 1 and the first chorus. If you do that, it simply makes it a little bit easier as far as putting things together, sets a good foundation like I mentioned, and it makes learning the rest of the song a lot less challenging. Verse 2 features the same chord progression from verse 1, going back and forth between G major 7th and C major 7th. But this sequence, this 2-chord sequence, is played just 4 times for verse 2 instead of 6 like we did in verse 1. We also have different lyrics to focus on syncing with the progression. So in the next clip, we'll focus specifically on verse 2, and we'll also start it off with a lead-in. The lead-in will be the end of the previous chorus. And then we'll kick into verse 2. So here we go with the next clip, reviewing all of verse 2. The second chorus is pretty much identical to the first chorus. That goes for the chords as well as the lyrics. The only difference, and it's a slight one, will be the very first syllable with the lyrics. On the first chorus, he says, "but Oz." On the second chorus, he goes, "oh Oz." So, minor detail, but for those of you who want to get it right, that's the only thing you need to do differently when playing the second chorus. For the third verse and chorus, pretty much they're played exactly like the second verse and chorus. Same lyrics and guitar chords. The only difference will be on the third chorus, again, it'll be that first syllable. Third time around, third chorus, he says, "no Oz," never did give anything to the Tin Man. So a little food for thought regarding the lyrics. First time, "but Oz," second time, "oh Oz," and the third time, "no Oz." But otherwise, third verse and chorus, same as the second verse and chorus. For the song's coda or ending, you'll pretty much be repeating verse 1. That's when we go back and forth between G major 7th and C major 7th 6 times. The only difference will be the different lyrics. We also have the ending, and what you'll be doing is just strumming the G major 7th for an ending. So. So with that, in the next clip, we can practice the song's coda, mainly the different lyrics. In fact, there's some layered lyrics, oohs and lahs layered over each other. So you can try that out, as well as syncing up that ending to complete the song. Once you have each section down, the final step is to put together a complete arrangement or performance of the song. And you can do that along with my America Tin Man practice karaoke video. And with that video, you can either sing along with America Tin Man Karaoke, play guitar with America Tin Man Karaoke, or do both.